people date each other? Ugly people date each other?
I need to date someone ugly.
Would you said you wouldn't, did you say you wouldn't be willing to settle? Is that what you said?
I would rather be single than settle with someone who's like average and boring and like doesn't make me happy or fulfill my needs.
But what about when you're in your 40s, for example, and you're not really traveling as much, and you know you're not like young in your 20s anymore, and life slows down a little bit? Don't you think you'd be more happy to be with a guy who works in construction, who's 5'10", earns a decent salary, and he's a good guy, and you guys can make kids and have a family and
maybe
live a
my mind might
life.
change when I'm older because every year you learn something new. But at this moment,
but isn't it just a vapid lifestyle to be doing the same thing in your 40s and 50s?
I mean, I don't do anything too crazy right now.
But if you were still doing that when you're in like 20 years' time, don't you think it wouldn't be a very good life?
Yeah, I mean, anything that you do for a long time like could get boring after a while.
Yeah. I think if I was still doing what I'm doing now in 20 years' time, that's like a nightmare for me to think about that.
Yeah.
I don't really think that girls think ahead that much with this sort of thing.
I mean, I definitely do. I want to have a big family and have lots of kids. But I shouldn't feel the pressure of society to...
I think we all need that pressure. It's like a good pressure that we've got. It's like duty. We have like
for
a
men
duty.
to say that because guys don't have like a time clock.
Yeah, but we've got other disadvantages, you know? We've got lots of disadvantages.
Like?
Well, the fact that we don't get any attention sexually when we're younger. When a guy's 20, 21 with no resources and he's still probably got like pimples on his face and ugly, girls don't really look twice at them.
I mean, same with girls.
Are you joking? Girls who are in between 20 and 24 are in their sexual peak. They get the most attention.
I thought you were talking about high school.
I'm not really talking about... Even young guys in high school. I mean, we should pull up one of my high school photos. I was disgusting. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, guys, we have to develop ourselves as men and get into your 30s when you've got more resources, you're more competent, you're a better leader. This is when you start to get more attention and you start to... Sort of thing starts
well,
to
it definitely takes guys longer to mature because your frontal cortex doesn't develop until you're like at least 25.
And you have to make a bunch of mistakes and fall on your face a bunch of times and go out into the world and experience all different kinds of trials and tribulations. But that actually grows your character as a guy. But before then, you don't really get much serious attention unless you're like ridiculously good looking
Builds character.
Or unless you have some sort of precocious talent. But so that's a disadvantage that we've got.
Mm-hmm.
Going around the table on this, though, you said you would not be willing to, you'd rather stay single than settle. So would you rather stay single for the rest of your life than lower your standards or settle?
But I already have the best man I can wish for.
Well, assuming you were single, right?
Well, before this, I was 8 years single, so I guess I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with an average guy.
And so you would date an average guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like you said, average dates average and
right.
all of that.
I would date an average guy, yeah.
And then would you rather stay single than have to lower your standards or settle?
Depends on the situation, really. If it's something that's going to annoy me in the long run, yeah, I would never settle for that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something I can deal with in the long run, yeah, I would settle for that.
Okay. What about you?
I would settle, yeah.
Okay.
I think I would settle. I mean, I feel like in the long run, as long as he's like a great dad to like our kids, I feel like that's all that really matters.
Sure.
But other than that, yeah.
Word? Okay.
I have a question. Can an average man be the provider?
It is difficult in this economy, but it's possible though. Depends. If you live rurally, you can, but if you're living in a city or a place like Santa Barbara, then it is nearly impossible. It's a big problem that we've got at the moment.
Wait, do you want to get married, right?
Yeah.
You want to have kids? Mm-hmm. How many kids?
3 to 5.
3 to 5?
3 to 5.
Yeah.
Not 35.
Yeah, 3 to 5. And do you want to continue working while you're once you start having kids, or what do you think?
I want to be a per diem princess. So if you guys don't know what that is, it's like, so for nurses, you can work full time, which is 3 to 5 days a week, depending on your hours, or you can work like 1 day a week, like a per diem job, where you just kind of work whenever you want to have an income, and like have a social life still, and still have like a normal routine and have like that sense of normalcy.
Word. Okay. Let's go back to the dating app. Dating her is like winning the lottery, gentlemen. All right, next. Go ahead.
Okay, it says, the way to win me over is plan a proper date, be a gentleman, and take me on adventures. What's wrong with this?
I think that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
I thought that was the best part of the whole profile.
Next.
The beginning. That's the first picture too. And the first one.
Okay, that's the last one for the dating app stuff. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
Okay, scale of 0 to 10.
I'd say there's a lot of red flags in that profile.
Oh yeah, the traveling.
The lottery.
The lottery was
Okay.
was bad because that's
Take
kind
notes.
of that would scream headaches for me. Entitlement, already putting yourself on a pedestal. I know it's a joke, and you know, you're just kidding, but also the traveling photos and the
Should I do pictures of
bikini
me
photos
with
on
my
beaches
cat?
around the world. I'd say, have you thought about investing in a burqa?
A burqa?
Yeah,
I have a poncho.
a poncho is the next best thing,
Okay.
and maybe a photo with a poncho. Would
Or
be
like a
better.
onesie. I have a unicorn onesie.
There you go.
Oh, and then I could be like, this is winning the lottery.
All right.
You're finding your unicorn. Okay.
That would be better.
There we go.
Maybe
That
you
would be
guys
funny.
can,
That would be all right. But yeah, all of the traveling, and then when you say registered nurse and you're traveling a lot, it's like,
Travel nurse is a red flag already. I know.
Wait, you know that?
People always tell me that.
It is a red flag.
Why? What makes it a red flag?
I'll give you a couple reasons.
it happens in Vegas.
I think one thing, like let's say there's a relationship-minded guy, but and it sounds like you stay in cities a little longer than other travel nurses. But I remember when I was on dating apps, I'd encounter a lot of nurses. A lot. Like I've dated a lot
Oh, so you have a
of
type.
nurses. So no, not my type, but I've learned. And I've dated local nurses, but then I encountered a lot of these travel nurses. They're in town for like 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
Same with flight
short
attendants,
stints.
yep.
Flight attendant, even worse. The thing is, if she's on a dating app and she's going on dates, she ain't dating people for long, which means what? High body count, promiscuity.
And also, it's a good opportunity for you to be able to do whatever you want and not have the social stigma of your circle back home. Nobody knows about it. Just get away with it.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it's like, I remember I was on a date with this travel nurse. I thought she was just a regular nurse. Turns out she's a travel nurse, you know? I mean, it's like
Oh no.
crazy, right? And I'm like, oh, how many cities you been in? And she's like 33. I'm like, oh no, hold on. Oh no.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
Oh no. Just no. Bad. She
so did you
probably
hook up with her?
And I'm like, am I dude 100? That's what I'm thinking in my brain. Am I dude 100 because you were on Tinder and Hinge and Bumble in the other 33 previous cities? Mm-hmm. Seattle.
You're not going out
Scottsdale.
for warm hot chocolates.
Washington, D.C., Boston, Fort Lauderdale, Louisiana. Wait, that's a
Why does
state.
that matter,
New
though?
Orleans. Why does what matter?
Why does it matter when you have
Maybe-
someone who travels a lot and
Maybe she's celibate.
Dates.
Because typically people who travel a lot, so they don't make any what's the term for it? They don't have, I don't know if it's roots, but like when you stay in one place, you're gonna end up hopefully with a long-term relationship. If you know you're leaving a city in 6 weeks' time, are you gonna date seriously, or are you gonna just like date casually?
And
Probably
all-
date casually.
Yeah.
You're gonna rack up a high body count. You're gonna have friends with benefits. Even if you date just one guy in one city, it's only gonna last a couple weeks, couple months. Then you're in the next city. You've racked up a high body count. High body count is undesirable in women. You are now disqualified.
But why do
My
you look
dear.
at it so negatively, though?
Because
so you could go to a city and go dating. Okay, that's not it. You leave, go to the next city, and then you meet someone who's the love of your life. And you know
Oh.
you're leaving, but you can go back.
You can always take
hold
a
on.
staff job too.
But you're asking kind of two different things. So you're saying, yeah, a woman could sleep with 300 men, and then number 301, that could be the guy she ends up in a relationship with. But from the male perspective, I don't want to date a girl who has 300, 200, 100,
Yeah, but that's you.
50
That's not
bodies. Most
all the
men.
males.
Most men.
Men hear that and they will be repulsed by that. And if they're not repulsed by that, and if they're willing to accept 100 bodies or more, then they just like their priorities aren't in the right
But
place.
what does traveling have to do with having a high body
Well,
count?
I just explained it.
And
So-
also, if you're on the dating apps as well, when you're traveling and you meet a guy on a dating app, obviously he's going to like insinuates that you've been doing that everywhere. And also, when you're going to new cities, you don't really know anyone, you haven't got any friends. What's the easiest way to hang out with people and have some company? It's to go on dating apps.
Or joining a club,
Yeah, you don't join
getting a
clubs.
hobby.
You're not joining clubs. Give me a break. Have you ever joined a club in a new city?
Yeah, I play
Which ones?
volleyball, sand volleyball,
Okay, sure.
So it's the same thing with
Pilates.
same thing with flight
Chess.
attendants, right? So these flight attendants, it's hard for them to like look. There's different. I've heard from flight attendants. There's different degrees of how frequently they're gone. Here's the thing, right? So there's a couple components. There's opportunity. So if you're in a new city and you're on a dating app, a lot of these I've matched with these flight attendants. This is how the messaging goes. Oh, hey, good to meet you. We match on Tinder or Hinge. How long are you in town for? 12 hours. Okay, what does she want from me if she's only in town for 12 hours?
Companionship.
No. What is the only thing that's on the table with a woman who's in town for 12 hours? Is it a long-term relationship, or does she want to fuck? She wants to fuck.
Be either one. Maybe she just wants a hug
No.
and someone to talk to.
She's going to find in her primary city, she's going to get a relationship in her primary city. If she's on a dating app and she's traveling and she's in Los Angeles, Miami, wherever for 12 hours time, the long-term potential there is next to nil. So if she's on a dating app, unless she's there.
Yeah, but she can move anywhere, it sounds like. So she could move to you if you guys hit it off on the first date.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So how long is it going to take to get to that point? All the while, she's still on Tinder, she's still on Hinge, she's still on the dating app, and she's in the next city, and she's got hoes in different area codes, literally. She's got a dude she can stay with when she's in New York, a dude she can stay with when she's in Seattle, a dude in LA.
Well, it sounds like a little insecurity, because if a man was secure, he'd be like, oh, I know I'm the best thing she's going to get, so maybe she'll just delete her dating apps and won't meet anyone else as good as me.
You're insecure, Ron.
How's that work for women when it comes to commitment?
What do you mean?
I mean, perhaps. I mean, you think most people can operate on this level of I'm so amazing that immediately this person is going to drop all their other options?
Well, it would depend on.
You've been single
the
for 4
spark.
years. What's kept you from being able to lock down? I'm not saying this to be
A lot of
insulting,
things.
right? But like, so it would appear to me that you yourself. I'm not saying this to attack you, just to kind of use your language here. You're not amazing enough to lock down a man.
I haven't met the right person. I haven't built a good connection that I would think is strong enough. So I'm saying that if you met someone that was a flight attendant and you had such an amazing connection, you would maybe have hope that they're not going out there and dating other people. But you don't know.
Well, so even if I grant that I could meet a flight attendant and she's really cool, whatever, I'm still going to vet her on her past promiscuity. And if she's 30 and she's been a flight attendant for, I don't know, 10 years or whatever, that's a lot of mileage. That's some frequent flyer miles. Frequent miles, you know what I mean?
maybe she'll give some to you so you can take some flights.
I'd rather not, Look, here's the thing, right? When you travel a lot, there's opportunity. You're not in one. It's harder for you to get a long-term relationship because you don't stay in one city for long, right? So, and this applies to men too. Like men and women who are on the road a lot, whether this means flying, it creates conflict in relationships Long distance is difficult. Long distance is more difficult. I'm not saying it doesn't work. Long distance is more difficult than just being in the same place as somebody. It introduces issues.
I'm on the road all the time. I live on the road traveling. And yeah, I get quizzed on that regularly. If I'm seeing a girl in a city, she'll be like, oh, well, I mean, is there any hope for this for the future? Because you're just going to be in another city next month, and how do I know you haven't got a girl in the next city? So it's very difficult to be us traveling people.
It's a hard life.
But like, think about it, right? When it comes to you, you're a travel nurse. So in my own anecdotal experience, having encountered a couple travel nurses, I match with them on the dating app. I'm like, how long are you here for? They tell me 6 weeks. They tell me 3 months. If I'm inclined, if a guy's inclined, he's not going to view her as a long-term prospect, right? And even if he did, she's leaving anyways. Mm-hmm. And so what's ultimately going to happen is what's most likely going to happen. As soon as she leaves to her next assignment, she goes to he's on the West Coast, she's on the East Coast, it's going to be the end right then and there. And if she's done that 10, 20, 30 times throughout her career, she's just already racked up a body count on top of what she already did in college, on top of what she's just already going to do before she meets the guy who she's going to be exclusive with for 2 months. She already hooked up with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys in this new city she's in. So I'm already thinking, okay, no way. No way. Too much traveling, too much bodies.
I think people don't really understand the whole career aspect of it, because you could be a travel nurse and you could be considered a local travel nurse, which means you just travel to hospitals in your city, a few cities away.
How many cities you been in the past?
5.
5 cities in the past how many years? 5 years?
4 years.
You've been in 5 different cities in 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How many men did you date in each of those cities?
I don't have a number.
You can't even remember it, right?
No, I remember. Seriously dated? I'll go on dates casually, but I haven't dated anyone the entire time that.
Well, you said you've been single for 4 years. Have you been celibate for 4 years?
Not 4 years.
How long you been celibate for?
About a year and a half.
Well, hold on.
Get the button.
No,
You're a fucking liar! You're a fucking liar!
I swear.
You've been celibate for a year and a half.
Yeah.
You live in Los Angeles?
Mm-hmm.
You're a fucking liar! You're a fucking liar!
Where? You can ask my roommates, my friends, my family.
Sneaky link?
No sneaky links.
Just celibate.
Yes.
No carnal knowledge.
No, none.
You got cobwebs? What's going on? Bro?
Cobwebs? No, because I feel like a lot of people in this generation just want to hook up, especially if they see you're a travel nurse. So I want something that's real, and I want to see if someone's willing to wait and put the work in and take me on dates and plan them. And if I have a connection with them, then yeah, I might
Wait,
go
put
there.
the work in?
Yeah,
What's the
planning
work?
dates.
How long's it? Wait, so you've been celibate for a
Asking
year and a half.
how I am.
You meet a guy you really like. How long are you waiting until you hook up with him?
It depends on the connection.
Connection's good.
Maybe 3 to 5 dates.
In the past 4 years, have you gone on 3 to 5 dates with any guys?
I think I made it to date number 5, and then he was leaving to go out of the country. So
Press X to doubt.
and he also had a family that I found out about.
Celibate for a year and a half?
Might not be the case.
Unfortunately,
with you,
so.
I often find that they call themselves celibate because they didn't like the guy, but they don't count the guy they met in Boston that one night
No,
on Tinder or on Hinge.
seriously,
went on a
no.
date. He doesn't count.
One night stands count, but I haven't had intercourse with a single person.
P in the V?
No, not even the tip. Yeah.
How long have
Just
you been in LA?
for a second, just to see how it feels.
Almost a year.
So before that, you were in.
Before that, I was living in Scottsdale.
You said it was 3 years you've been traveling?
Yeah.
So in all the other cities, what would you do?
Yeah, I had a few one-night stands. There's nothing wrong with that. But
Oh.
I think that there's nothing wrong. If you want to hook up with someone, that's your body. It's your choice. I feel like sex is a normal thing. and like you release a lot of like serotonin, dopamine. It makes people feel happy, but it's like an energy exchange.
Just a couple questions on this. Are you religious at all? Just curious.
I'm spiritual.
Spiritual. You said you've had a couple one-night stands. More recently, or because you said you
obviously not recently.
Well, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you had some one-night stands here and there, and then like you went to college, maybe some hookups in college.
Yeah, mostly just like college, and then after graduation.
Question for you: what is the quickest from like first meeting to it's going down?
5 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
How quick? An hour, 30 minutes.
Definitely a few hours.
A couple hours.
Yeah,
but same
because I
night.
want to like talk to someone and see who they are.
Okay. So, can you pull up her dating app profile again? the last prompt. So, the way to win me over is plan a proper date, be a gentleman, and take me on adventures. And then, in addition to that, you also just said now how you want to wait. You'd wait 3 to 5 dates depending on the vibe.
Yeah.
I'm just curious,
you wanna get to
why
know
the
someone.
switch up though? Because you said you said you've had one night stands.
Yeah, I think I had that phase in my life where it was fun and casual, but now I'm looking for something more serious, and I feel like guys take you more seriously when you tell
Do
them
they?
that information. What do you guys think?
I think you should convey that better on your profile.
I should say I'm
the
celibate.
serious stuff. Maybe just look a little bit more modest and not like the whole traveling thing, and look like you're looking. Because when I see that profile, I think recreational use only. No, nothing serious.
Okay. That's a funny term. I like that.
I don't like the.
I'm gonna put that in my caption: recreational use only.
I don't
Don't do that.
like.
Don't do that.
I don't like the recreational use only.
Well, I mean,
Like it's like
I wouldn't do it personally.
Oh,
but
right,
I'm saying
that's-
when
yeah,
you put people into categories on dating apps, and I'd say that just through the photos and through the bio, it'd be like, maybe signifying just having a bit of fun in a new city, have a few dates.
Yeah, but I feel like
whatever.
on the date, then I would like open up and.
Yeah, but guys, we read into this stuff. You guys read into it a lot more than we do, but we still read into it.
I really don't. I just like power swipe until I find someone to chat to.
power swipe. Do you enjoy any like luxury goods at all, like purses or anything like that?
I mean, yeah, they're nice.
Do you have a nice purse?
Yeah, but it's fake.
Oh.
We don't know that.
So no,
What's
I
the
don't.
What's the most you've spent on like either some sort of jewelry or a purse or anything?
I mean, mostly just like clothes, probably like $200 or $300.
Like some nice shoes or something.
Yeah.
I'm not really familiar with shoes. Are what are they? Louis Vuittons? Are they
Christian Louboutins?
Are those still like
I mean,
cool shoes? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, so the question, I guess, for you is, would you feel kind of ripped off if you went to go get some Louboutins and you spent, I don't know how much, let's say it's $1,000, and then the very next day, one of your girlfriends goes to the same store, and the store sold her the exact same shoes that you bought for $100. Would you feel like ripped off?
Yeah,
a little
for
bit?
sure.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's how men feel when women previously gave out sex super easy, like one night stands, casual sex, whatever. And then now that you've had your fun, now that you're looking for something serious now you're going to make these new guys wait a couple dates. They got to do all this investing. They got to pay for dates. They got to be a gentleman. They got to take you on an adventure. Who knows what that means? Maybe that's like they got to take you on a trip somewhere before you're going to give it up, right?
Yeah.
And it's like weird. It's kind of crazy. It's like it feels like a ripoff almost. Like, why do I got to do all this shit when that guy at the club that didn't take you on a date, wasn't really even a gentleman, he got to hit within 3 hours. But why do I, the guy you think you want a relationship with, why do I got to wait 3 weeks?
Because I'm a better person now. I have more knowledge, more mature.
Is that what you mean by
respect myself
adventures?
more.
Trips?
Huh?
By adventures?
No, I
do
feel
you
like you could have an adventure just like sitting at home, going to the beach. Like you can have local adventure, just like making life
So
fun.
just going for a walk?
Yeah, that could be an adventure. Going to the playground, swinging,
That's kind of
going
fun.
on the spinny thing.
I think it's it's kind of a raw deal for men. So, I mean, essentially, do you promise that you will never have a one-night stand again?
I can't necessarily say that.
See,
Because never say never.
But that's what's so confusing. Women will say, for example, you even said it here. Well, that's in the past. Now I have higher standards. I want more. I want a relationship. But you're not even still ruling out the possibility of having a one-night stand. So imagine
I'm just not going to lie about it and be like, oh, I'm never going to. Because I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind if I'm 40 and single.
This is even
maybe
like...
I want to get laid.
This is... Sure, but this is like another layer of like the rip-off component here. It's like... It's one thing, I suppose, for a woman to, okay, well, I was in college. I had a string of hookups. But now I'm looking for a relationship. Still object to it. I mean, look, you can do it. I still think men are getting ripped off. But then to say, like, imagine as a guy, the last guy she hooked up with before you, she fucked him within an hour. And then you come along, and then she makes you wait 3 months. She's like, no, baby, I want something serious. I want it to mean something. You got to work for this pussy. You got to take me on dates. You got to pay for dates. You got to do adventures, blah, 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 whatever. Then you date her you get the pussy, you date her for 6 months, you break up. The next guy she gets into a relationship, she fucks the same day she meets him. It's like, what are your values exactly?
It just sounds like this is situational. Because that's not my
It's like
case.
you're trying to feign chastity. Like you're trying to, it's like you're playing a game. You're trying to leverage sex for something.
I'm not trying to leverage it. I just want to build a deeper connection because, like, when you have sex with someone, you are building a connection based on, emotions and physicality. When I want to build like a deeper emotional, intellectual connection.
But that's fine to want that. But let's say the guy that you want a relationship with, he wants to have sex on the first date. Do you tell him no?
Yeah.
Okay. Even though. Okay. I mean, look, you're totally fine to do that.
My body, my choice.
Right. That's
Same
cool.
with
My
everyone
wallet, my
else.
choice.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's fair.
But that's fine. Look, as a woman, you could have had sex with 100 men within 5 minutes of meeting them, and man number 101, you could look at him, and you're not even religious. You could say, you have to wait until marriage to fuck me. Women are 100% within their right to do that. What I'm advising is that men look at a woman like that and say, that's a raw fucking deal. I ain't dealing with you. That's a raw deal.
So my chances of finding my soulmate is
No, that's not
0.005.
even what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's kind of like, okay, here's an analogy, right? You're at McDonald's. Wait, who dated the McDonald's? Who was the person? Oh, that was her. Okay, you're at McDonald's. No, okay.
The McDonald's fuckboy.
You're at McDonald's. There's 7 people in front of you, and there's 7 people in front of you in line at McDonald's. They all order a hamburger. They get charged $1 for the hamburger. You finally get to the front of the line. You ask for a hamburger, and the cashier says, it'll be $100 for you for the hamburger. You'll be like,
Supply and demand.
well, hold on, no. But here's the funny thing. There's 10 people behind you. And then as soon as you pay the $100, the 10 people behind you, they then get the burger for $1. Would you feel ripped off?
1,000%.
And that's how men feel.
But is the
that's
burger
how men
better?
feel.
You don't
Is
give
it
that burger.
better though? Are all the burgers the same?
Yeah, this burger is the exact same.
But I don't think all
The
people are
$100
the same.
burger, it's the McDonald's cheeseburger.
Yeah, but in
Like, you know that shit.
relationships, not
ain't
every
good.
relationship is the same. Like everyone you date is different.
Well, yeah, but like what you're offering to all those men,
Is the same.
like it's gonna be the same,
the same
really, because
burger.
it's you. You're the same. You
Oh,
stay
well,
the
I'm
same.
offering them my burgers.
In fact, you could even make the argument that
The burger gets worse over time.
as you know,
As
look,
I age,
as people age,
The
they
buns
get
get
less
saggy.
attractive. It's just a reality of aging. But the other thing is you've accrued relationship baggage. You've accrued trauma from your past relationships. You're going to bring that into your new relationship. Who knows? Maybe you've gotten, who knows what you could have gotten. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Look, you're free to do it. I'm just advising men to be like, you're leveraging sex against me. I want a woman who has, Jake said this on Sunday, as a guy, you want a woman who has, what is it, burning desire? Is that the?
Genuine burning desire.
Genuine burning desire. It's like, okay, why? It's like You reward the fuckboys, jerks, assholes, the men who would arguably be the least deserving of sex. You give them the sex super easy, same night. They don't have to do anything for it. And then the guy that arguably is the most deserving of sex, he has to wait. He has to put in the good work. He has to chase the carrot on the stick like a good little simp worker boy. A little what are the ants called? The little drones or whatever. Like a good little drone. You put in 5 first dates and you pay for the date and you're a little, give me that ass out hug and a kiss on the cheek on the first date. You have to wait.
Patience is a virtue. Oh, I have a question for you guys. Okay, would you marry a girl that you fuck on the first date?
Well, I don't want to get married, but yes. Yeah. I'll tell you about, I've not been married, but I've had multiple long-term relationships, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year. The rapidity, the quickness with which I sleep with a girl is kind of ultimately irrelevant. It can be an indicator for potential promiscuity. It can be a red flag, but not necessarily. I think there's actually far greater red flags than that. Of all my long-term relationships, it was like first, second, or third date. It wasn't like, let's wait 3 months. 60, what are some of the terms the girls will say? 60-day policy, or what is it, 30 day? 90-day policy, or what do they say?
It's like, I don't know, it's just like 90 days, and if he's still interested.
90-day rule, 60-day rule.
Yeah.
It's like, no, none of my things. In fact, all the girls that like made me wait, I just dipped, really.
Like once you got it, you just dipped?
No, like if they just continue to make me wait, and I'm like, it's one thing if she's a virgin or has a low body count, and her standard for waiting has been the standard that she's equally and equitably applied to all her previous partners. But if you're you've had 10 one-night stands, you had a one-night stand 3 months ago, your values have not sufficiently changed for me to believe that this isn't an act and that you're just not leveraging this to get something from me.
I just wouldn't believe them as well. Like, you don't have the evidence. If they've had a certain past and they say, like you've said, I've been celibate for 1.5 years, I couldn't prove that. I just wouldn't believe it.
Why do you guys look into it so much, though? It's kind of funny.
It's actually
I feel like you're making drama where there is none. I feel like you're looking into it way more than you should. It kind of sounds like, oh, she did this, so that means probably this, so that means this, so I feel this. So it's kind of
men are
weird.
more logical when we think about these sorts of things, and past promiscuity is an indicator for divorce. They've done studies on this, and they show that as a woman's body count goes up, 5, 10, they become exponentially more likely to end a marriage.
So what about men? Men can be promiscuous?
It affects them less, definitely.
So what's like an average number for a guy to have?
Like 5 to 8. I think that's about
5 to
average.
8 is low. That's not
really
promiscuous.
Yeah, I know, but
over your whole life.
But a lot of guys, that's where they sit. Yeah.
But like 5 to 8.
You asked what the average is. That's about the average. Yeah.
Like legit, that's a fact.
Well, you'd be surprised to know that most guys are out there at the moment get 0 sexual attention. Yeah. A lot of guys in their 20s even have been celibate for a whole year. A big percentage of people. So that would be about the average.
I'm just really curious, and I want to ask like all the girls here. It's like the mindset that you guys have. Is that normal here, or is that like? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like in America.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to know that because it seems so. Like you said, like you think we're brainwashed, but it's funny because I think we think the same thing about you guys.
Well,
and then you're from Australia, and you.
Australia, it's pretty bad too, in terms of like the liberal sort of mindset, happy wife, happy life type stuff. But you just have to look at the fruits of it, and I think that there is an objective truth about this. It's that people who have lower body counts going into marriage are much more likely to have a long and successful marriage.
It's just fascinating that that's so important.
Well, do you think it's important when you're going into spending the rest of your life with somebody and having them mother your children that you should be looking into these things?
Absolutely not. No, I don't mind if my guy slept with 10 or 1,000.
I'm speaking more as a guy. Looking into the past of a woman.
I've never been asked about body count or anything like that, so it's just very fascinating to hear that side of things. Well,
like I said before, you can actually look at the fruits of it, and you can this is actually borne out by stats as well to show that women who have a higher body count are much more likely to get divorced, and so they make for bad partners. So guys need to be looking into this stuff. If you want to have a logical analysis of the person that you're about to spend your life with.
Sleeping with people does not make you any type of worse relationship material.
Do you think that if you sleep with 1,000 people in a year, that makes you a worse partner?
I think it actually says nothing about you, except that your libido might be quite high. Otherwise, you wouldn't.
I'd say that would make you a total whore if you sleep with 1,000 people in a year, and it says a lot about your character. It says a lot about how you value yourself, and it would say a lot about what kind of a partner you'd be as well, what kind of a wife you'd be. Okay. And how you value sex, because sex is actually important. It's not just something that we can do and just never think about again.
Yeah, but it's so human. It's so natural. So I don't see why it would
You think
matter.
It's natural to have sex with lots of different people?
Oh yeah, that's where we come from. So yeah.
Wait, so do you think body count doesn't matter?
Absolutely not. Does not matter at all.
What's your body count?
I don't know. I knew you were going to ask this question. I thought about it, but I have no idea. I never counted.
Well, I don't need like an exact 53. I don't need an exact number. Give us a range.
I don't know. I'd say 50 if I have to guess.
More than 100?
No, I don't think so. But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Well,
at least to me.
You don't care about body count, right?
Yeah, I don't.
You don't care about the man who's slept with.
I prefer a man who has.
I think
more...
a lot of women, like if they knew that a man slept with like 10,000 women, they'd maybe get a bit of an ick.
No, I prefer a guy who slept with more women because then they know what they're doing and they're experienced. So I actually prefer that.
Are they?
Are they more experienced? Or what is your question?
Well, I don't know. I don't get this whole like, you need to sleep with a lot of people to either become good at sex or get experienced at sex. Yeah. You could actually make the argument that a woman who's had, for example, 20 one-night stands, and that's it, versus a woman who's had 1 or 2 boyfriends and has slept with them dozens or hundreds of times.
Yeah, everybody is different.
She's probably going to be better in bed than the woman who's had 20, 30, 40, 50 one-night stands.
That's not true.
It's not true?
No, it's not true.
But
everybody is different, and also the communication style is different. Some people have fetishes, some people don't.
I could just use that same argument. You said everybody's different. You're right. So the woman who's had one boyfriend, who's had sex with him a ton, she is different. She's going to be better in bed than the girl who slept with 20 men one time each.
I think it depends what you mean by better in bed, though. I don't think that girls who are really promiscuous are good in bed. I find that they're actually a lot worse. Depends what you want by sex, and it's kind of unattractive when a girl's really promiscuous and she's just there to get her rocks off, and it doesn't really mean anything to her. It's not this important thing, because if it's really important and it's really special for her, then that's actually a very attractive thing. But if she's just there to sort of have an orgasm, that's kind of gross.
Okay. Yeah, that's just crazy to me.
There's also a really big differential here between sexual performance between men and women. You could make the argument that a man who's sexually experienced is going to be better in bed. I'm not sure if this equally applies to women, though. First off, typically women are going, unless the woman takes on a more dominant role in the sexual encounter, I would argue that so long as a woman is open-minded and enthusiastic, that's all it takes to have good sex with her. I'm not so sure if a woman's encountering a male virgin that she's going to have amazing sex guaranteed with a male virgin. But a man who has some degree of experience in the bedroom can take an inexperienced woman when it comes to sex, or even a woman who has no experience, and have amazing sex with her.